Hello, hello. Coach Carmen here from the Happy Balanced Life. And today I wanted to talk to you about spaghetti squash. So honestly, this is such a great veggie to prepare as an alternative to pasta if you are trying to cut out a little bit of calories. So I want to walk you through how easy it is to prepare. Today I'm going to make a meal. You can make this with shrimp, you can make it with meatballs, you can make it with meat sauce, however you want. I'm going to actually make it with sausages and tomatoes and some veggies, garlic, so I will walk you through the process. But most importantly, a lot of people don't know how to prepare it. So I'm going to cut it, I'm going to roast it, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to put it all together. So stay with me. So next we're going to cut into this, and this is the most difficult part because it can be a little bit strong, but here we go. I will show you what it looks like while it's raw, and then what it looks like when it's cooked, and I'll get into my recipe. So what I usually like to do is stab it in the middle and then cut through it. Just be careful, obviously. This is the hardest part. And it's going to look like this. It's going to have seeds inside, so you want to make sure you get those out. So now you're going to take a lasagna pan that is big enough to hold these in, and you're going to put them in face down. And there's about 1 inch of water in here to make sure that they don't get dried out when they're cooking. Just place those in there, and you're going to place them in the oven. The oven is already preheated to 400, and you're going to place these in the bottom and let it cook for 45 minutes. Now you can literally do whatever you want with this as any pasta. For me, for the toppings, I'm going to use some tomatoes, which I am going to slice up. I am going to use some roasted garlic chicken sausage. This is from Trader Joe's and it's really good. I literally just slice them up into pieces and cook it in the pan. I am going to add some spinach as well, fresh spinach to the pan to get my greens in. I'm going to saute all of that, and we're going to get started with our sauce, or our mix-in, if you will, while the spaghetti squash is cooking. So as you can see, I've chopped up 3 cloves of garlic, 3 of the sausage links that I mentioned earlier, quite a few tomatoes, and some spinach. I'll use more than that spinach just because it wilts down to nothing. And we're warming up some oil in the pan right now until we get started. We're going to start really quickly with garlic, then the sausage. Once that's cooked up a little bit, we'll add the tomatoes to blister. And then finally, the last thing we'll add is the spinach because that's very quick to wilt down. Make sure you are moving your garlic around in some quality olive oil so it doesn't burn, because then it'll get bitter. Okay, I just put the oil down, the temperature, and now we're going to add our sausage because that's going to take the longest to cook. And then as that's cooked down, we'll add our tomatoes next. Now, as you can see, the sausages are browning up. So what we want to do is add the tomatoes, and we're going to cover this up until the tomatoes blister. Just check it every once in a while. I will lower the heat on this and cover it up. It smells really good in here because of the garlic and the sausage. I will cover this up now and leave it be for a little bit. So the last piece here, like I mentioned, is to add all the spinach in there to get wilted. The tomatoes are blistered. The chicken sausage is cooked. We're excited. It smells delicious in here. And like I mentioned before, honestly, you can make this spaghetti squash with any toppings. I make it often just with meatballs or with shrimp. You can make with veal, however you use your spaghetti or your pasta today, whatever dish you'd like. I was going to try something different today to get my greens and my protein in. And, I ask that you do the same, right? Like whatever works for you is what's best. It's really about replacing the spaghetti squash the pasta with spaghetti squash and trying it out. Here is the most important part. Our spaghetti squash is done. And I'm actually, it's hot, so I'm holding it with a silicone pad. But look at this. You literally are scraping it out, and this is why it's called spaghetti squash, because it looks like angel hair pasta. Okay? So you empty this out. Now another tip that I'll give you is I am putting this in the pan, but other times I just like to break it up, and then you fill it in here. You can put meat sauce and cheese and bake it, and it's delicious. And as I said, any toppings that you use for your spaghetti today would work with this. It is hot, so you have to be careful, as you can see. But the point is to get the spaghetti squash out into the meal. You can get rid of the outside. Look at that. It looks just like spaghetti squash. It looks just like spaghetti. And there you have it. I mixed the entire content of that spaghetti squash that we baked. And if you're wondering, all you do is to check it is in the oven, put the fork in the spaghetti squash skin, and if it goes through, it's ready to go. So it took about 40 minutes at 375 degrees for it to cook. Obviously, it's going to depend on the size of your oven, or the strength of your oven. It's also going to depend on the size of your spaghetti squash. So this is it. It's done. It smells delicious, and I've had this before, so I know it tastes delicious. I hope you'll try it, and if you do, let me know if you enjoyed it.